Every Saturday morning, millions of homeowners walk out to their driveways to fight a losing battle. They spend hours on their knees tearing at stubborn roots or head to the garage for a $30 chemical spray that smells like a laboratory. Most of us have been there, spending a perfectly good weekend morning clearing a space, only to watch the exact same weeds return a few weeks later. We douse the soil, watch the leaves wither, and assume the war is won. But soon, a dark biological reality sets in. The weeds return thicker, tougher, and completely desensitized to the spray. We are breaking that cycle today. Over the next 10 minutes, we go step by step through a 5-chapter roadmap to permanently restore your yard. We'll examine the documented science behind commercial weed killers, the 3 exact surface tools my neighbor uses to clear paths for pennies, and the common pantry mistakes currently ruining 90% of backyard ecosystems. 3 summers ago, I watched my neighbor step outside and break every single rule of conventional lawn care. He wasn't pulling roots or spraying commercial biocides. He simply walked his paths once, applied a single liquid that costs pennies, and went back inside. By the next afternoon, the weeds looked completely erased from the inside out. What he knew, and what the data sheet on every commercial jug never tells you, is a documented biochemical vulnerability sitting in plain sight, filed under a U.S. patent number most homeowners never think to look up. By exploiting that gap between what's published and what's marketed, you can force an invasive weed to collapse its own cellular walls within 12 hours, leaving zero toxic footprint in your soil. To understand why my neighbor's method works, we must first accept an uncomfortable truth. The global chemical industry does not profit by permanently solving a weed problem. They thrive by keeping you trapped on a continuous synthetic treadmill. It is a highly effective business model, selling a product that guarantees you will need to reapply it next month. When you spray a heavy biocide like glyphosate onto your yard, you are told it safely targets a plant-specific mechanism. What is frequently omitted is that this compound is explicitly registered under U.S. as a highly potent broad-spectrum antibiotic. It actively targets the shikimate pathway, an evolutionary pathway found in 90% of the microscopic organisms that keep your soil alive. When you spray it, you permanently wipe out your soil's underground microbiome, creating a biological vacuum. And nature absolutely despises a vacuum. The only organisms capable of surviving in dead, compacted, nutrient-depleted soil are aggressive pioneer species. We call them weeds. The cleaner you try to spray your yard with synthetics, the more dependent your soil becomes on the next chemical application. But this surface reaction is only the first layer of the strategy. My neighbor bypassed this commercial cycle entirely by utilizing a physical surface vulnerability that works almost instantly. The first part of my neighbor's strategy didn't involve a spray bottle or a specialized chemical applicator. It began with a simple gooseneck kettle filled with water brought to a strict thermal threshold, at least 95 degrees Celsius. Most casual gardeners believe that pouring hot water simply cooks or scalds a plant, much like overboiling vegetables in the kitchen. But rigorous field trials from the University of Massachusetts Extension reveal a phenomenon far more violent. When water at or above 95 degrees hits a young seedling, a mere 0.5-second dwell time triggers an instantaneous, irreversible gel-to-liquid crystalline transition within the plant's cell membranes. It is a literal steam explosion at the microscopic level. The structural walls rupture, causing intracellular moisture to violently leak out. On young annual seedlings, this simple thermal shock achieves an astonishing 92 to 98% kill rate almost overnight. Because water dissipates heat almost instantly upon hitting the earth, it rarely raises the soil temperature below a depth of 2 centimeters. This means you can vaporize invasive weeds in driveway cracks, patios, and walkways without sterilizing the deep, beneficial microbial communities living beneath the surface. However, while pure thermal physics works flawlessly for hardscapes, treating open, established garden beds requires a completely different biological tool. Attempting to use boiling water around delicate ornamental roots would introduce too much ambient risk, which brings us to the next phase of the protocol. When dealing with wider garden zones, my neighbor swapped his kettle for a clear, highly concentrated acidic fluid. If you spend any time researching organic gardening online, thousands of blogs will instruct you to mix up a bottle of standard 5% white vinegar from the grocery store. It sounds simple and cost-effective, but in practice, it is largely a waste of time. According to extensive field trials managed by the USDA Agricultural Research Service, standard 5% household vinegar is an absolute myth for permanent weed control. It lacks the acidity required to penetrate tough outer defenses, merely scorching the tips of the leaves while leaving the growing crown fully intact. The real secret is utilizing 20% horticultural acetic acid. At 20% concentration, this liquid stops acting like a mild kitchen ingredient and becomes a devastating, non-selective contact desiccant. The moment it makes contact with a weed, it forcefully strips away the protective, waxy cuticle layer. Within 24 hours, the plant entirely dehydrates from the outside in, leaving absolutely zero synthetic residues behind in your ecosystem. However, there is a major catch that standard online tutorials often glide past to keep their instructions brief. Because horticultural vinegar has no systemic activity, it only achieves what botanists call a top kill. The deep, established root systems of perennial weeds can easily survive this surface shock and push up new growth within a matter of weeks. To neutralize this threat permanently, my neighbor deployed his third and most critical layer, the preventative shield. Without this step, weed management becomes a permanent, weekly chore. Instead of endlessly waiting for new weeds to emerge and treating them reactively, my neighbor shifted his focus to stopping the weed seed before it could ever develop its very first root. He broadcasted a natural golden granule across his open soil, corn, gluten meal. Discovered and patented by Dr. Nick Christians at Iowa State University, corn gluten meal contains no actual gluten. Instead, it is packed with highly specific, bioactive dipeptides. These organic peptides do not harm or kill existing, established plants, meaning your established perennials and vegetables are completely safe. Instead, they function as a strict, localized, pre-emergent root inhibitor. When a dormant weed seed attempts to germinate in the spring, these peptides physically block the absorption of moisture and stall primary root formation. The tiny seedling opens its leaves, searches for a water source, finds no root system to drink with, and dehydrates completely before it ever breaks the soil surface. By combining precision thermal shock, targeted desiccation, and a natural pre-emergent barrier, my neighbor allowed his garden to tap into what biologists refer to as a biological bazaar. Healthy, unpoisoned plants naturally direct 30 to 40% of their photosynthetic carbon down through their roots as liquid exudates. They are literally paying an underground microbial security team in natural sugars to maintain the soil health for them, rendering heavy, synthetic chemical interventions completely obsolete. However, deploying these natural tools incorrectly introduces a severe, hidden risk to your soil structure. Which brings us directly to our final chapter. Before you empty your cupboards to mix up a homemade weed killer, you must understand the exact formulation errors that ruin 90% of organic yards. The most dangerous piece of advice circulating online is mixing standard table salt and synthetic dish soap into vinegar. First, sodium chloride. Plain table salt is a permanent, non-selective soil sterilant. Once your soil salt levels cross 200 parts per million, you create a toxic dead zone, destroying the delicate mycorrhizal fungi networks that your desirable plants depend on for nutrient uptake. This recipe literally salts the earth. Second, commercial dish soaps are industrial detergents packed with heavy, sodium-based surfactants. When they accumulate in your garden beds, they degrade soil structure, reduce water infiltration by up to 40%, and suppress critical nitrogen-fixing bacteria by nearly 80%. Furthermore, because amateurs assume organic means harmless, many handle 20% horticultural vinegar with zero protection. Make no mistake, at 20% concentration, acetic acid is a highly corrosive substance capable of causing immediate second-degree chemical burns on your skin and permanent blindness upon contact with your eyes. We must treat these organic tools with the exact same professional respect and safety gear as any industrial chemical. The truth is, you don't need a prescription to restore your yard. You don't need permission to understand how soil actually works. Nature already built the system. The problem is that most people never learn how to see it. My neighbor didn't discover a miracle. He simply stopped fighting biology and started working with it. Thermal shock, targeted desiccation. 3 simple tools, 1 healthy ecosystem. That's the difference. If you've ever tried one of these methods or discovered a natural solution that worked better than expected, let us know in the comments below. Traditional gardeners have always learned from one another, and that exchange of knowledge may be the most powerful tool of all. Thanks for watching.